Alright, so huge spoilers if you're not caught up on the manga. One Piece chapter 821 just released a few hours ago. I just read it. I'm gonna give my reaction, a little bit of a review, uh, and then a bit of what I think is gonna happen next. So, in this chapter, the big thing, well, basically the only thing that happened was we realized that it was Zunisha talking to Momonosuke and Luffy, and we already knew that it was going to be Zunisha. Luffy can hear the voice of all things. There's a giant elephant. Of course, it's Zunisha talking to. Um, but what was important here was that Odin and Roger could also hear the voice. So that's another direct comparison between Luffy, the Pirate King, and also someone that's now following Luffy and a subordinate of the Pirate King. Um, so that's important. But what's really important here is that I think we just found the third ancient weapon. If you remember that Shirahoshi is an ancient weapon because she's Poseidon, she could talk to the Sea Kings and command them. Momonosuke can command Zunisha. And it's not like he's stronger than Luffy or has some special ability Luffy doesn't have. It's that whoever imprisoned Zunisha and gave her the command to walk told her to wait for somebody because she says, "Is that you? Are you out there?" And it's not Luffy, it's Momonosuke. So it's important to note that it's not that Luffy's lacking some ability, it's that Zunisha can only take orders from a specific person, and that happens to be Momonosuke. So I think Momonosuke's the third ancient weapon. Now, that might not be true because they didn't expressly say it, but I do think that's what it is. And then so I didn't get to make a video on this, but in the last issue of Jump, they said that uh, Oda was saying that this chapter that just released 821 would open the curtain on a new legend, and I think that's clear now that that's Momonosuke, because this chapter really revolved around him and his power. And also, like Luffy said, Zunisha's now on their side. They have the giant ancient elephant on the side of the Straw Hat Pirates. So maybe Zunisha will help in the war against Kaido. Another important thing we saw um, at the end, uh, Transponder Snail talking to Kaido. I think it's pretty obvious that that was Apu from the way that the voice worked and um, and the keyboard teeth. So that means that Kaido beat did, like we think, beat Kate, Apu, and Hawkins, and they likely joined his crew. So they're going to show up in the Kaido arc, which I don't think is necessarily going to happen next because Luffy just said, "All right, I'm going to get going." So I think we're still going to be following Luffy to Whole Cake Island. But it's important to note that when we do see Kaido and Kaido's them fighting against Kaido's army, we're going to see Kid, Apu, and Hawkins again. Um, but also, I think Zunisha is going to be part of that fight now because Momonosuke has complete control over Zunisha, where Zunisha goes, and how and what Zunisha does. So this chapter was um, didn't give us a ton of information, but it was really cool to see Momonosuke control Zunisha and beat Jack, and it was really important to see that. And it gave us another link between Luffy and um, the Pirate King, and it showed us a little bit more, or it gave us pretty much concrete evidence of what happened in the fight between Apu, Hawkins, Kid, and Kaido, because it seems pretty obvious that they lost and then joined Kaido, or at least Apu joined Kaido. Um, yeah. Oh, and also I just love that Oda threw in Frankie standing there with his head as the whale right next to the whale tree. I thought that was awesome. So this was a pretty good chapter, and obviously I can't wait to see what happens next. Let me know what you thought of the chapter, um, and what you think is going to happen next. And until next time, stay classy, Internet.